Hello and welcome to the 28th edition of the Faculty Digest, which is a series of lives that we do from our studio in the faculty office in Hyderabad. I'm Parvati Mohan and I lead the audio-visual production efforts here at Faculty. And for those of you joining us for the first time, the Faculty Digest is a fortnightly update that we do where we share with you the kind of work that has been happening behind the scenes in Faculty from across teams. So we speak to one representative from two teams, and they tell us about the kind of work that they've been doing over the past 2 weeks. And a lot of times you will find, as you will today, that this is work that directly has an impact on your life in one way or another. Before we get into that update, a quick note on memberships, which are now live on our English language YouTube channel. These memberships are a small but significant way for you to show support for the kind of work that we do here. You will have access to custom emojis and, of course, priority response to all the comments that you leave on our content here on YouTube. And yes, please keep sending us your questions, either as comments on the live or on our videos, or DM us on social media where we are at Factly India across platforms. And we look forward to your questions and your feedback. And all of that is some ways away, but for now we will get into the update. And we will start with the fact check team, which is represented here today by Harsha. Hi, Harsha.
Hello, Bharat.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it makes sense. Usually, I ask you what are the main categories of fake news. Today, I don't think that that's a sensible question because, of course, most of it is going to be related to the ongoing election, Lok Sabha and assemblies. So, yeah, go right ahead. Take us through what kind of election stories you and your team debunked this particular fortnight.
So we have four phases of elections completed, and we have three more to go. But we are seeing enormous misinformation, election-related misinformation all over the country. And basically, we categorize misinformation into some parts so that it's easy for us to analyze. So first one is misinformation related to contesting candidates or politicians, political parties. So in this, we have some examples, like for example, one video of Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge saying that if Congress government comes into power, they will loot the Hindus' homes and they will redistribute the wealth to the Muslims. But actually, it is a clipped video. In the full speech, he's just referring, he's just quoting the statements given by the PM. And next one is the related to APGM CM Jagan Mohan Reddy, in which he can be saying that it is related to Land Titling Act. The Land Titling Act is a very important concept. I mean, this is the most important election narrative for this for as far as AP is concerned. So in this video, he can be seen saying that Land Titling Act means it is related to land, but actually in the full video, he can be seen giving the explanation what it means for farmers, like that. So this is also a clipped video. And the next one is related to OIC. A photo went viral claiming that OIC went to temple during the campaign in the Hyderabad, but actually the image shows that some priest, while he was campaigning in Hyderabad, some priest came to him and garlanded him like that, and there were no reports of him going to temple during this campaign. So next one is related to PM Modi. A photo went viral claiming that President of India Draupadi Murmu accompanied PM Narendra Modi during his nomination in Varanasi. But actually, this video shows the nomination image of the Draupadi Murmu, where PM Modi and other leaders went along with her during the when she filed nomination. So these are the misinformation related to contesting candidates on the political parties. So and other next important category of misinformation is money seizures. During elections there is a lot of police and election commission and other departments seize the money related to politicians, their relatives, and like that. One claim went viral is that some huge money was seized by the election commission when they raided the Anakapalli NDA candidate. But actually, these images show this. This it's not related to Anakapalli first of all. And the next one is it is related to Jharkhand, where when the election commission raided the Jharkhand minister secretaries made. So they seized some of the money from them, and the investigation is going on. So, and next one is that went viral is Jharkhand police seized a huge truck of money filled with the gold and the cash. But actually, this is not a real image, and it is an AI-generated image. We will come into later how we debunked it. So, and next one is related to misinformation related to pre-poll and exit polls. Uh, one one claim went viral is that this PTA, Best Test of India, surveyed AP assembly elections and said that YSRCP is going to win. But actually, PTA has never done such survey, and they have clarified it. And next one is related to India Today. Similarly, like that, Samajwadi Party is going to win majority of the seats in UP. Uh, they attributed it to India Today survey. But actually, the numbers are false. India Today did some survey, but the numbers are not as claimed in the viral posts. And next one that went viral after the completion of the assembly polls in AP on May 13 is some local media channels like NTV, TV5, ATV conducted exit polls, and they said that YSRCP is going to win. But actually, these are not they have not conducted any survey, and there is complete ban on the exit polls until the completion of the seventh phase of the elections. So next viral claims related to the protests. One video that went viral showing that Congress party workers burned the Modi effigy, but their clothes caught fire and like that. But actually, this is not related to Modi and recent elections. This is a video from 2012 and related to Kerala, where some student leaders burned the effigy of the vice chancellor of the university. The same video went viral claiming that BJP leaders uh, burned the effigy of the Rahul Gandhi, like that. So both of these claims are wrong, and this video is completely old and unrelated to the elections. So next one is a video of the women shaving off their head in a protest against the UP government. But actually, it is an old video, related 2019 video, but it is unrelated to current elections. They protested, demanding to make their jobs permanent. There are some contract teachers, so this is not relevant to them. So next one is this image of the crowd. Election campaigns are going on these days. So one image went viral claiming that a huge crowd gathered at the rally of PM Modi. But actually, when we did the reverse image search, we found that the image is related to China in 2008 during this welcome rally of the Olympic torch for Beijing Olympics. The same image went viral claiming that this is a crowd gathered at Sunita Kejriwal's wife of Arvind Kejriwal. Sunita Kejriwal's rally at the Gujarat. So both of these claims are wrong, and the image belongs to China and not India. And other claim went viral is visuals of Pawan Kalyan's nomination rally in Pittapuram. But actually, it's a rally from 2019 at Vizag and is not related to recent elections. So, and other important trend is this voting irregularities. Uh, after the finishing of the polling, every time there are some claims of voting irregularities like EVM tampering, booth capturing, and like rigging like that. So one claim went viral is that in Assam, the claim is that in Assam there is in a polling booth where there are 90 voters, some 171 votes were polled. But actually, this incident is from 2021 assembly elections, I think, in Assam assembly elections. So what happened is some voters from other polling booth voted in this booth, but the election commission took notice of this incident, and they suspended all the officials and they conducted the repolling in the particular booth. So this is also irrelevant to the present elections. So next one is this BJP is using army to cash fake votes. This is actually this first of all this video is from 2019, and this so the incident is so what actually happened is some army voters came to vote in at a polling station in Madhya Pradesh, and some unknown people took their IDs off, and they created records for not allowed the army voters to vote. So the army filed a complaint against these people, and said that there are I mean they obstruct the army voters. So the ECA took the action. ECA and the police took action against the people who obstruct the army voters. So and the final trend of the misinformation is related to communal claims. One letter went viral claiming that Association of Sunni Muslims is distributing money to the people to vote in favor of the Congress. But when we fact checked, we found that there is no such association called Association of Sunni Muslims, and the address and the phone number given are completely wrong. And yeah, and the next one is Congress supporters tearing up the posters. Mm, so when we reverse image search the video, we found that this uh, they are wearing these kanduvas, of the BJP Mahila Morcha. So we can see that these women belong to the party of BJP and not Congress. Actually, they protested against in front of the house of the Congress leader, and they tear up the posters. But the posters contain the visuals of the gods. The Lord Ram and Hanuman. So these type of misinformation. These are the categories of misinformation we debunk during the elections.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, lots of them, and we're showing no sense of abating anytime, unfortunately. So, yeah, as people who come across these kind of claims on social medias, do you have any words of caution for our viewers? Like, what are the things that they can and should do when they come across these, sort of sensationalist posts on their own feeds?
Yeah. So will give some examples in each category. So first one is this clipped speeches. It is easy to circulate the clipped speeches because everyone tends to believe it. For example, this video of Karge saying that they will loot the Hindu homes when Congress comes into power. So first one we should think with our common sense. Like no politicians would make such blatant statements during these election times.
Yeah.
So it should be either clipped or edited or generated with artificial intelligence. So in this case, it is clipped video. So he's just quoting statements given by PM Modi. So next one is this money seizures. So this the age and the team. One image went viral like tons of loads of gold and money. Jharkhand police got loads of money during the election. So first we should see that if there are any news reports. So obviously, if police really caught such a huge amount of gold, there would be news reports, right? So, but at least there should be statement by the Jharkhand police. So first we search the statement. There are no statements and no news reports, no media coverage. So then we check the irregularities in the images, like there are for a agent because agent images are not perfect. So we checked for the discrepancies like shadows, some plastic kind of faces, fingers, and the notes, the currency notes in the image are also not Indian. So, and finally, we ran the image through the AI detection software like Hive Media, AI or not, Truth Media, like that. So, like this, we conclude this image is not real and AI generated. And the next one is related to exit polls. So, one thing we should be cautious about exit polls is that Election Commission has banned the publication of exit polls until the completion of the last phase of election. That is June, evening of the June 1st June. So all these surveys that were circulated in the name of several media agencies like national media, state media, are fabricated and fake. So next one is this image. This is easiest kind of misinformation anyone can debunk. Like a simple Google reverse message, for example, this Modi's image, Modi's crowd image. A simple reverse message can give us the original image. The original image belongs to China 2008 and not related to current events. So like this, some kind of misinformation people can debunk by themselves and not always depend on fact checkers and media agencies.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And but yeah, should you find it difficult at some point, we have spoken about this in our previous lives, and we're always repeating that some places you do need a fact checker's input, and that's of course why they're all here. With that, anyway, we've come to the end of the update from the fact check team. Thank you for joining, Harsha. And yeah, so to go back to what we were talking about, where should you need that sort of extra help when you're not able to figure out something, if it's the truth of a claim, Then there is our WhatsApp tip line, which is a great resource for you to tap into. And by sending the claim on this, you will get to know if the image or the text claim or whatever it is real or fake, or how much truth there is in it. And you can also, of course, subscribe to our WhatsApp newsletter, which you can do through the same tip line. All right, we will now move on to the update from the newsroom. And representing the team is Sai Krishna. Hi, Sai Krishna.
Hello.
Yeah, and so yeah, even with the newsroom, we are sticking with the topic of elections, just as we did with fact check. And there are two stories that you'll be talking about today. So first, tell us what these are and why you thought that these particular stories are worth exploring at this point.
Yeah, so like I've mentioned in the previous live, that we'll continue doing stories on Indian elections, picking up unique aspects that mainstream media wouldn't report such. And if you look at any election, the successful conduct of any election depends on three important players. One is the political parties and their candidates. The second player is the voters themselves, and the third uh, important but often invisible players are the electoral administration, the machinery that conducts the election. So, in the previous stories that we have done, we explored more on political parties, the number of candidates that are contesting in elections, and some aspects of voters also, the number of voters, how is the pattern changing. Uh, in these two stories, we wanted to explore more on the administrative aspect of elections, that is the machinery that conducts the election. So we have done two stories based on this theme. The first is the first story is related to seizures in terms of during the election period, and the second story that we have done is related to security forces deployment during the election. So these two these two stories are these two stories throw a light on the administrative aspect of the elections. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, let's first get into more detail about the electoral seizures story. So when you looked at the data around this, what were the highlights that came up?
So whenever there's an election coming up, you always hear news such like uh, this much amount of cash is being seized. These kind of news always float during the elections, and we need to properly understand exactly what is meant by seizure and who has the authority to seize. So, if you look at uh, any like, there's no proper definition of seizure either in any legislation or by the ECI, but there's a document called the Standard Operating Procedure that is formulated by the Election Commission of India. So, where it defines seizure as confiscation of goods, cash, liquor, arms, and ammunitions, and some kind of freebies also. This is similar to model code of conduct where it doesn't have any legal backing, but since the ECI has formulated it under its power, under its like Article 324 powers. So even though it lacks legislative backing, it is binding since the powers are derived from Article 324. Now, how much is the like how much should the value be to get seized? So for cash, the max value is anything more than 50,000 will be seized, and for goods that are valued more than 10,000 will be seized. And there are certain exemptions to this. For example, like star campaigners of party can carry up to 1 lakh cash. So this is regarding the limits of the seizure. Then who will seize the amount? So for any kind of seizures of or confiscation, the election commission has a machinery. Like they have two separate teams. One is the flying squad, and the another is the static surveillance teams, also known as SSTs. So these two teams uh, often go around in the constituency, finding out where these transactions are taking place and accordingly seize the materials. And what happens after you seize some money? Or so again, to ensure certain like fair treatment is given to the parties that are carrying cash or goods, the election commission instructed that like a committee will be set up. A committee is all like would be set up, which comprises of three district officers. They will sumo to review all the cases of seizures, and if no FIR is filed upon seizure, then the committee has a mandate. Like committee has a direction to dispose the case within one week of the polling day. So this is all things related to seizure, like what and why everything. Now coming to the key highlights of the seizure, we see that in the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, in the first month of the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, there was more than like 4,650 crores value of seizures made uh, by like uh, given by the Election Commission of India. This is only in just like during the period of 1 month. If you look at the data of 2019 elections, the whole entire during the whole election period, only 3,600 crores were seized. So the amount of seizure taking place in this election is very much high. And in terms of cash, if you look at the cash seizures, uh, in 2014 elections, 299 crores were seized. In 2019 elections, 844 crores were seized. And during the first month of uh, this election season, around 350 crores are seized. In terms of liquor seizure, we see that in 2014, 161 lakh liters of liquor was seized. In 2019, 191 lakhs. And within the first month of this election, like more than like 350 lakh liters of liquor were seized during this single election. This is single month of this long election. And coming to the narcotics that are being seized, we see that their numbers grew from like 17,000 kgs to 80,000 kg. Like that is more than 350% increase in their seizures during the 2019 elections. And we do not have the data on 2024 elections. The commission has not published data on seizures of drugs, arms, and ammunition, and freebies, these kind of things for the ongoing election. So we are also waiting for that data to see how the seizures are evolving during this election.
Yeah. Okay, that is insane, and we will be looking forward to the story that you will write. And of course, the stories that are being discussed right now are all in the description of this video. And we strongly encourage that you go to factory.ai and read these articles for that deep insight into all of these things, which in this case is electoral seizures and, of course, the deployment of forces in Indian elections, which is what we are going to move on to right now. So, yeah, what were your findings in this regard?
Yeah, uh, this is also an important story because these days politics are almost dominated by money and muscle power. So ensuring there's an integrity of the ensuring to maintain integrity of electoral process and conducting election in a country as diverse as India, where there are more like there are differences in terms of regions, languages, everything. It is a huge task, and election commission has like millions of officials to oversee all this process, like starting from the uh, election official, polling officials to security personnel to the counting personnel. There are millions of officials who are involved in this huge exercise. Among them all is most important is the deployment of security forces because they ensure that these kind of money and muscle power don't intimidate the voters, and they ensure that voters come with a peace like free mind to vote for whichever candidate they elect. That is why security forces play an important role during the election process. In terms of data that we have looked at for this story, uh, we have looked at the total human resource requirement, like what is the human resource requirement for the election, conduct of election. This is directly dependent on the number of electors and accordingly the number of polling stations that are being set up. Because usually you will always find one or more security personnel deployed at a polling station. So if you look at the number of electors that are in India, in 2014 there are around 834 million electors, which increased to 912 million voters in 2019. The 2024 data shows that approximately 969 million voter electors are there in India. And this translates to around 10.5 lakh of polling stations in India. Uh, Accordingly, the human resource requirement is expected to be at around 12 million during the 2024 elections. Coming to the security forces that are being deployed, we see that 2024 elections, more than like 3,400 companies of security like CAPF personnel are being deployed in this election. That is the highest ever made in all the Lok Sabha elections. Uh, Previously, like in 2009 elections, around 850 companies were only deployed. This has grown to more than 3,400. That is almost 4 times rise during this election. So that is broadly uh, about the security forces deployment that we have. And before concluding, I would like to highlight one key issue that these two stories point out. So, uh, Election Commission regularly publishes data on number of things like candidates, political parties, everything. And this they have, I think they have slightly missed providing data on these two aspects of election because they also play an important role in the elections. So if you look at like many statistics of election commission, they all we find that almost many statistics come from first Lok Sabha elections. You have data from first Lok Sabha, but the data on seizures of electoral seizures is only from 2014. So we don't know what happened previously. And even after 2014, we don't see a pattern in terms of data being provided. So because sometimes they provide data on arms and ammunition being seized, sometimes they don't. So there's no uniform, uh, you know, disposal of data in terms of electoral seizure. And that is the same with security forces deployment and the uh, election officials involved in the elections because we want to know what is the cost of conducting elections because there's a you know one of the main reasons for pushing simultaneous elections in India is the expenditure incurred in terms of conducting elections regular. And if we want to know what is the expenditure incurred, we should know the number of officials that are being deployed at each election. So the election commission, I think there's no proper uniform and consistent data on the uh, number of officials involved by their types also. Like you, sometimes they provide data in terms of like number of observers, number of micro observers, this kind of thing. Sometimes they don't. They just give the aggregate tally. So we don't know the categorization of such officials. So again, these two stories also point out to the lack of such important data by the ECI, and we hope that election commission should proactively come out and dispose such kind of data so that we have better chance of doing an informed analysis on these aspects.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, yeah, for anyone who wonders, why we talk about public data all the time and all that, I think what Sai Krishna said makes a lot of sense because obviously, every part of your policy decision is, policy decision making is informed by data. Like he said, like in terms of if why are people arguing that we need to have one nation, one election? Uh, Good or bad, but yeah, that it goes back to data, how much money is being spent and all of that, the human resource and everything that goes into conducting an election in this country. So yeah, with that, I think we've come to the end of this edition of the Faculty Digest. The next one, which will be the 29th edition, should be on the 30th of May, and it should be around the same time. Watch out for that. Of course, the notification will be on our community tab in our on our YouTube channel, which means you need to be subscribed to us if you aren't already. And follow us on social media. We are at Faculty India across platforms. Keep sending us your questions, your feedback on social media, on as videos, as comments on our videos and all of that. And we look forward to engaging with you at all these levels. And yeah, so I think that's all that we have from here. And we will see you the next time on the next edition of the Faculty Digest. And until then, of course, through the daily work that we put out both here on YouTube and on our social media accounts, both English and Telugu. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again very